Acts chapter 16, verses 22 through 40. The crowd joined in the attack against them, and the chief magistrates stripped off their clothes and ordered them to be beaten with rods. After they had severely flogged them, they threw them in jail, ordering the jailer to guard them carefully. Receiving such an order, he put them into the inner prison and secured their feet in the stocks. About midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the prisoners were listening to them. Suddenly there was such a violent earthquake that the foundations of the jail were shaken, and immediately all the doors were opened and everyone's chains came loose. And they weren't in the normal part of the jail. They were basically in the part of the jail that's like lockdown in today's prison. When the jailer spoke up and saw the doors of the prison standing open, he drew his sword and was going to kill himself, since he thought the prisoners had escaped. At that time, if they would have escaped, that guard would have got put to death because they were under his responsibility. But Paul called out in a loud voice, "Don't harm yourself, because we're all here." The jailer called for lights, rushed in, and fell down trembling before Paul and Silas. He escorted them out and said, "Sirs, what must I do to be saved?" They said, "Believe in the Lord Jesus, and you will be saved, you and your household." So what changed his heart to be saved? Because he saw how different they were than other men. Any other man, when those jail doors would have opened, they would have escaped and that man would have got put to death. But these men, even though they weren't even wrong for what they were preaching, when they started getting persecuted and beaten and thrown in prison, the gates even opened for them and they still didn't take off. Instead, they were there, and that happened for a reason. Not so that they could escape, but so that this man could be brought to God. They said, "Believe in the Lord Jesus and you will be saved, you and your household." And they spoke the word of the Lord to him along with everyone in his house. He took them the same hour of the night and washed their wounds. Right away, he and all his family were baptized. Does that mean them just believing that Jesus was God was going to get them saved? Like literally? No, of course not. Of course not, because even the devil and the demons believe that. And they even proclaimed it from their own mouth. And what did Jesus tell them? To shut their mouths and don't speak it. They said, "Believe in the Lord Jesus and you will be saved and your household." When you truly believe in Jesus' finished work and it brings transformation and you seek God's face and you draw near to him, that brings communion with God. That brings intimacy with God. As you seek that intimacy, you go transforming. This is when you're saved. This is when you're born again. When you desire, and it will spark a hunger and a desire inside of you for more of him. They said, "Believe in the Lord Jesus and you will be saved, you and your household." And they spoke the word of the Lord to him along with everyone in his house. He took them the same hour of the night and washed their wounds. Right away, he and all his family were baptized. He brought them into his house, set a meal before them, and rejoiced because he had come to believe in God with his entire household. When daylight came, the chief magistrates sent the police to say, "Release those men." The jailer reported these words to Paul: "The magistrates have sent orders for you to be released. For you to be released. So come out now and go in peace." But Paul said to them, "They beat us in public without a trial, although we are Roman citizens, and threw us in jail. And now are they going to send us away secretly? Certainly not. On the contrary, let them come themselves and escort us out." The police reported these words to the magistrates. They were afraid when they heard that Paul and Silas were Roman citizens. They were afraid because the Romans were not supposed to be lashed like that. So they came to appease them, and escorting them from prison, they urged them to leave town. After leaving the jail, they came to Lydia's house, where they saw and encouraged the brothers and sisters and departed.